part of the goal here is, to explore and see what's out there. And, I have a theory that people are, especially Americans, the values are relatively the same. And we have an issue in America where we have a lot of ego, we have a lot of misinformation flying around, we have a lot of intention, and a lot of that misinformation is intentional, so, and you have all these different groups, and all it is marketing. And, you can get into a lot of these conspiracy theories, and I'm not going to say what I believe and don't believe in terms of those, because some of them have some plausibility to them, not necessarily validity, but plausibility. And so there's something to consider. But realistically, the human race just isn't that fucking smart. We are selfish, short-sighted, and for the most part, we don't like to turn the boat upside down. We don't, a lot of us don't mind change. I think as a species, we do very well with change, but only when that change can evidently benefit us. And so when that change doesn't evidently, immediately show itself as a benefit, a lot of people pump the brakes and become very resistant to it. And, that's part of our curse as a species, is that throughout our evolution, we've needed to invent things to survive. Tools, clothes, shelter. Once we left the natural world, it was our responsibility to improve ourselves. And the only way to continue evolving and surviving was to do that, is to keep inventing new tools, inventing new machines, things that make life, or an aspect of life, easier or possible at all. And then, you have economics and natural things. But that's not to say that we're inherently flawed species. Obviously, we are. We aren't perfect, and that's good. But when you compare us to the dolphin or the whale, very intelligent beings. Dolphins, whales, there are a lot, elephants. There are a plethora of species out there, animals that really are intelligent, and we don't give them enough credit. Because what do they need? What does the dolphin need? Warm water, at least warm enough to survive in, the ability to breathe air on the surface, food, fish to eat, other dolphins to fuck and have kids with, and, like I said, the ability to stay warm enough to survive. So the dolphin has it easy, because the dolphin can say, hey, fuck this place, there's not enough food, and the water's getting cold, we're gonna go to where it's warmer. Oh shit, look at all these fish here. Hey, look, all my dolphin friends are here. I'm gonna have a fucking dolphin kid. Or I'm gonna find a blowfish and get high. I don't know if you do that, but dolphins get high on blowfish. There's spikes and stuff. It's a mild toxin, so it kind of gives them a narcotic effect. And it kind of proves my point. If they're intelligent enough to enjoy getting high, they're intelligent enough to move to, warmer water, and they have a social interaction, who's to say they aren't as potentially, I'm not saying they are, but the potential of that species is just as much as ours, because we need things to survive. The dolphin doesn't need to invent the wheel. The dolphin doesn't need to wear a coat, The dolphin doesn't need a tool to hunt. It has those things. So, as we evolved, we created a need-based lifestyle, which a lot of other species do not share. So, no other real species shares that. The closest I can think is something like a beaver who builds a dam. That's one of the most ecological meddling things I can think of in the natural world that is just a shift. But even they do it in a more responsible and sustainable way. You know, so back to my point, back to our values and what we have values as Americans. You know, we want to make sure that we've covered our bases, make sure we have a roof over our heads, food in our refrigerator. You know, we want to make sure that we have a social structure to, even if it's a small one. You know, even introverts need people. So as many of us that think, oh, I could go disappear in a cabin forever with my books or, you know, whatever, that's really, you go stir crazy after a while and you just need companionship. So whether that's a friend or whatever. And so, you know, once you have all those necessities checked, people are usually pretty awesome. You know, you have a varying degree of giving nature and selfish nature, but most people, when you're in their environment and you're respectful of that, are more than happy to graciously accept you into their home and get to know you a little bit. And you know, you see all these travelers that have nothing. People will leave with nothing but a full tank of gas in their car or their motorcycle or whatever, rely on the kindness of strangers, and they do. And they survive. You know, especially in America, we have that giving nature. We appreciate people who take those risks. And again, as long as they're respectful and you understand that cultural shifts happen in regional areas and you don't force, it's fine to be open and honest. I'm a very open and honest person, but don't get in people's faces about their lifestyle and judge them. It doesn't do us any good. They immediately close off and stop listening to any potential learning that could happen. So you really need to go through and be respectful and observant and decent to the people you meet on the road. Now, that's not to say that you should tolerate intolerance. That's one of my key phrases is the only thing we cannot tolerate is intolerance. A bit of an ironic statement, but it's the truth. So as long as people are accepting and social and kind, you know, a lot of people live this lifestyle and love it. On the road, in varying degrees of luxury. I didn't want to do the van life. That wasn't me. Vans are a little too small. You know, I'm 5'11" and 3/4. I'm as close to 6 feet as you can be without being 6 feet tall. But, you know, and coming up a hill here, gotta think about my speed. You know, I need to be able to stretch, I need to be able to stand up, I need to be able to do these things. And you can't do those things in a van. Some vans you can, but vans are so crazy expensive. Like, for a conversion van, you know, you can get a small minivan or something like that pretty easy still, but even those right now, because of COVID and everything, a lot of people, because the rents are going crazy, they don't have money to pay rent necessarily. So a lot of people are buying into the RV and van lifestyle because it's easier, cheaper, and more sustainable. And they're willing to sacrifice some comfort for that.